Hi, good morning, good afternoon, everyone. It's great to be back. My name is Isaac, and thank you for joining me here for today's webinar. Now, today's webinar is really going to cover a very basic comparison between MT4 and MT5. I'm sure by now you guys should be pretty much clear as to what platform you guys are using. All right, before I begin, I just want to be sure that you guys can hear me and see my screen loud and clear. All right, it's not so important to see my face. More importantly is that you guys are able to, see my screen and hear me. So if you guys can see my screen and hear me, please drop a comment in the question box below and just say yes or something like that. All right, can you guys hear me and see me? You should be able to, right? Because I already did the sound check prior to this, but I want to be sure that the attendees can actually listen in. Okay, anyway, with that, let me just begin today's webinar. All right, today is going to be MT4 versus MT5, which should be the platform that you guys are using. Now, before I start, I just want to go through some very basic disclaimer. Understand that this information contained here in this material is really intended for general advice only. It does not take into account your investment objective, financial situations, okay, or your particular needs. Now, FP Market has made every effort to ensure the accuracy of information provided in this webinar at the time of this webinar, but FP Market does not give any warranty or representation as to the accuracy, reliability, or completeness of the information here. Now, it is down to my due diligence as the presenter to actually give you guys the most accurate, updated, timely information where possible. All right, so with that, let's begin by going into today's webinar. So this is really what I will be covering today, right? Introduction to MT4, introduction to MT5, and then I'll be comparing between MT4 and MT5, and then I'll just share with you guys some tips, right, on how to use MT4 and MT5. Now, I have a few people here. I want to keep this webinar as interactive as possible, right? I don't really like to carry out one-way webinars. Okay, so if you guys have any questions, okay, any questions at all throughout the course of this presentation, feel free to drop your questions, all right, in the question box, right? There's a WebEx actually has a question box for you guys, so you guys can actually use it, and I will do my best to reply you all right? In the event that I'm unable to reply you guys, okay, I will let you know as well, okay? Okay, so we'll be covering introduction to MT4. All right, so what really is MT4? MT4, for those of you who are already familiar, all right, will know that currently MT4 is really the most popular trading platform for FX traders around the world. And why is it popular? Is because it is generally free to use, right? It's very easy for brokers to take and repackage it and give it out to their clients, for their clients to download and for their clients to execute trades without any worries, right? It's a very stable platform. Okay, it's free to use and a lot of people are on it, so therefore it makes it very common. Okay, so MT4 can also be used for various styles of trading, such as discretionary algo. All right, so it's very fast, free, very straightforward, not an issue over there. But the most important thing, the most important things of why MT4 really is the main trading platform for a lot of traders out there is the fact that, it is a very stable platform, okay, and I can attest to that because I have used both MT4 and MT5 extensively. All right, MT4 consumes very little computer resources, okay, so you don't need a super powerful top of the line gaming rig or trading rig, right, like you guys see on social media. Okay, all you need is just a regular computer, laptop, right, and that will be fine. Okay, you can actually execute trades off MT4. Now, MT4 also works very well even with low internet bandwidth. So for areas where you have low internet speeds, okay, or there are a lot of people hogging onto your home Wi-Fi, you don't have to worry. All right, MT4 is not going to throttle and choke and slow down. Okay, so MT4 is really very useful. Okay, it's fast free. The only drawback, I suppose, is because it's really how you say, the only drawback is because MT4 seems a bit old, right? So it seems a bit like if you are running on Windows, okay, it seems like you're still running on like Windows 95, that sort of thing. Okay, but it doesn't change the fact that it is extremely stable. All right, any questions about MT4 so far? Okay, if no questions about MT4, all right, then I will move on to MT5. So next thing that we have here is MT5, Introduction to MT5. Is MT5 really the challenger to the title? Now, before I just explain a bit more about MT5, I just want to understand, right, the attendees here, okay? Some of you are over here. I just want to know what's your experience with trading so far? Okay, if I can have your experience, I think that would be really, really good. I just really want to know your experience. So you guys can just write in the comments, in the question box. Okay, maybe you have 1 to 3 months, you're new, or you have 2 to 5 years, kind of a bit more experience, kind of thing. Okay, anyone? All right, I'm not getting any questions. At this point in time, I just want to be clear that you guys can hear me and see the slides. Okay, because like I said, I like to have a bit more interaction with my attendees. Okay, so it's and it'll be really nice to have some sort of interaction so that we can share best practices and can go back and forth. Okay, still no questions. All right, I'm starting to really question whether the people that are in this webinar, whether you guys are here or you guys are not here. Okay, one. Okay, well, Sapato, thank you. Thanks so much for replying. I really appreciate it. Okay, so you have no experience. So by sharing, I can actually tailor my explanation to you better. Okay, since there's no one else here that's replying, okay, then I will tailor everything to Sapato's level. All right, so we got to be fair. You guys spend your time here with me in this webinar. The best I can do for you guys is really to give my best. Okay, and if you guys go away with nothing, then it's really a waste of your time, right, and my time. All right, so okay, so Sapato, thank you for sharing. All right, so you have no experience. Okay, so I'm just going to go back to MT4. Okay, today we're talking about MT4 and MT5. Right, the idea is really to compare which platform is better, right? Whether you're doing MT4 or whether you're doing whether you're going to use MT5. Now, both are pretty common trading platform to use. All right. Your trading platform, okay, that you use to execute trades through your broker, in this case, First Prudential Markets, FP Markets. All right, you can use MT4 or MT5. Okay, and that is important because then you need to know how to execute trades through these trading platforms. Okay, so basically buy and sell FX pairs, right, or CFDs if you guys are trading CFDs. All right, so At the same time, all right, today's webinar is really to help you make an informed decision as to whether you should stick with MT4 or MT5. Okay, so as I've mentioned earlier, MT4 compared to MT5, MT4 is really the more prominent and the more popular platform. Okay, because it is very stable. Okay, it consumes little resources and it works well even with low internet bandwidth. Okay, so I think those are top 3 considerations. As it doesn't matter whether you're a scalper, you're intraday trader, you're a swing trader, position trader, trend trader. All right, these are very important factors for you to consider. Okay. So let's move on. Okay, MT5, is it really the challenger to the title? Now, a lot of people have this misconception that, oh, okay, if now that MT5 is released, MT5 should therefore be better than MT4, right? However, that really doesn't seem to be the case out there in the markets. Okay, now a bit of background about MT5. Okay, MT5 was released in 2010. All right. The issue with it is that it's really offered only by some brokers. Not all brokers offer it, okay, because MT5 is still pretty buggy. The problem at MT5 is that there is no hedging, okay, and because there is no hedging, I think that is really pretty good for what you call that? That is pretty good for US clients, okay, because if I remember correctly, this actually complies with US 5.4 no hedging rule. So it really suits US traders. Okay, so don't be confused. MT5 is not a new version of MT4. Okay, it is a different version altogether. All right, it's not like MT4 upgraded. All right, the idea is that it's supposed to be MT4 upgraded. However, that doesn't seem to be the case as of now. Okay. So MT5 was also designed for different asset classes, especially through centralized exchange. Okay, it was designed for to trade in new markets beyond forex, such as stocks, commodities, futures, and even options. Okay, and we're not talking about the CFDs here. All right, we're not talking about the CFDs here. Okay, so it's just something for you guys to think about. All right, so any questions about MT5? Okay, if you guys have no questions, I just want to get a few. Okay, how many of you here? All right, I have a small number of attendees here, so I just want to know how many of you here are on MT4. Okay, and how many of you here are on MT5? So perhaps you can just type down in the question pane, right, whether you're on MT4 or MT5. If you are on neither, okay, you just put undecided. And I hope this webinar actually helps you to decide better. Okay, MT4, MT5, anyone? Sapato, do you have a preference? Are you on MT4 or MT5? Okay, so you're not yet in anyone. Okay, so not an issue. All right, thanks for your reply. Let's move on. Okay. So we come to the to really the meat patty of the hamburger issue, right? That we have today. MT4 or MT5? Which one do we go for? So let me quickly just put it down. Okay, I have a table over here comparing between MT4 and MT5. So on the left-hand corner, all right, you will see MT4. All right, on the right-hand corner, everything is regarding MT5. So we're talking about analytical objects. All right, MT4 talking about analytical objects, things like drawing. Okay, drawing what do you call that, like trend line, all right, Fibonacci, this sort of things. Okay, MT4 only has up to 31 objects, whereas MT5 has up to, all right, so MT5 has up to 44, okay, different objects that you can draw. Okay, and one of the big difference that you see, all right, is that MT4 has built-in economic calendar. Sorry, MT4 does not have, but MT5 has a built-in economic calendar. All right, I would be honest and say that really this was the one factor that sort of sold me to go on to MT5, but I kind of regret my decision. Okay, now the difference in built-in indicators, economic indicators, MT4 only has 30, whereas MT5 has 38. Now, calendar for MT4 is not embedded, but calendar for MT5 is embedded. All right, and for those of you who are using MT4, you'll know that the coding language that MT4 uses is this thing called MQL4. However, on MT5, instead of using MQL4, it has really moved on to MQL5, and that's the community chat for MT5. All right. Now, exchange trading, as I mentioned earlier, okay, MT5, the idea that MT5 was created is really created because of the fact that it was meant to be used as a new platform to trade markets beyond forex, such as stocks, commodities, futures, and options, not just CFDs. Okay, so that's just something for you guys to consider. All right. Fund transfer between account. Okay, so if let's say you have multiple accounts linked on your MT4, you cannot transfer your funds among them, between them. Whereas if you are trading on MT5, you can actually do that. And I think there's a caveat here. The caveat is that the broker has to allow it as well. All right, then you can transfer your funds. All right, both MT4 and MT5 allows for hedging. Okay, but I think MT5 is better in the sense, okay, that MT5, when you're a US trader, it doesn't allow you to hedge. All right, there is an option that doesn't allow you to hedge. Okay, account currency, or all right, this one, euro, USD, pound, yen. Okay, this again depends on the broker. All right, now one thing that's interesting is MT4 and MT5 netting. Okay, when it says netting, it means you net off the position. So an example will be, let's say MT4, you open, all right, you open maybe 5 lots. Okay, you buy 5 lots for Aussie dollar, right? Because Aussie dollar really strong right now. Okay, so you're buying 5 lots for Aussie dollar, and then you do the same thing on MT5. Okay, so MT4, MT5, you both buy 5 lots Aussie dollar, right? Going long. Okay, now on the intraday, okay, let's say that's your swing trade. On the intraday, you see an opportunity for going short, right? So MT4, you enter a short order. Okay, what it's going to do is that it will just add on an additional short order on Aussie dollar for you, right? So it sort of goes in the opposite direction. Okay, so let's say you have 5 lots you're buying. Let me just write it down so you guys don't be lost. Okay, so we're looking at netting right now. Okay, so MT4, you go long 5 lots. Okay, and then you want to take the intraday short 1 lot. Okay, total you have 6 positions open. All right, now for MT5, if you turn on the netting option, all right, same thing, Aussie dollar, you have 5 long. Okay, and then intraday you want to go short. All right, you sell 1 lot. Now if you turn off the netting, if you turn on the netting option, this is where you're going to get caught. Okay, end up is net off, your total only long 4 lots. Okay, so they net off. All right, so MT4 and MT5, there's this netting option. Okay, so sometimes it helps, all right, for people that don't like to open too many positions, they want to net off their position, sometimes it helps. But if you want to hedge your positions and all that, then netting will be a bit frustrating for you. Okay. So order execution types, right? MT4 has 4, whereas MT5 has 3. Now, pending orders, MT4 has less than MT5 by 2. Okay, MT5 has more pending orders. Now, MT5, because it's also released in 2010, all right, the platform speed, it works better, all right? It works on a 64-bit multi-threaded, all right? What that really means, okay, is that it supports more than twice as many, okay, time frames as MT4, all right? We see it down there, okay, but it also works faster, all right? Now, when you generate a report, okay, MT4 only gives you a table, right? If you actually learn to generate report, MT4 only gives you a table, whereas MT5 don't just show you the tables, it actually shows you a chart, okay, and you can actually download and save this report. So these are what some brokers actually use, some traders out there actually use. They generate a report, okay, and then they show that, oh, you know, you're profitable over this period, and then they try to sell their courses, okay. Now, okay, so strategy tester single thread against multi-thread. Now, what does that really mean? Okay, so MT4 only allows a single back testing. Okay, so you can only back test on one chart. All right. However, MT5 allows for multiple back testing. Okay, so it allows you to work through a lot of back testing a lot faster than MT4. Now, symbols, I suppose these are pictures. Okay, indicate symbols, arrows that you put on the charts. Okay, MT4 has 1024, all right, whereas MT5 allows you to put unlimited symbols on a chart. Okay, and we've already covered technical indicators, right? 30 for MT4 compared to 38 for MT5. Now, the beautiful thing about MT5 is that you can look through a lot more time frames, okay, than MT4. MT4 only has 9 different time frames, okay. And MT5, okay, has nearly twice, slightly more than 2 times, okay, the number of time frame that MT4 has. Time frame, in my opinion, is really important, especially when you have to do multi-time frame analysis. Apart from that, okay, MT4 works as nicely as well. Okay, so trading signals and copy trading, MT4 doesn't allow for it, okay, whereas MT5 allows for it. All right, so this is in general, okay, this is in general the sort of comparison between MT4 and MT5. Oh yeah, one more thing, okay, for MT5, all right, you have this thing called the depth of market, the DOM data. Okay, MT4 we don't have. Okay, give me a moment, somebody just raised their hands. Okay, if you guys have a questions, just feel free to fire your questions away, all right? No need to raise hands or anything, okay? Just cut me off in the middle of the presentation. I'll do my best to reply you guys. Okay, so there is a big difference between MT4 and MT5, okay? So MT5 has the depth of market, MT4 does not. All right, so that's something for you guys to think about. Okay, so now, I'll just take the next few minutes to really share my experience, okay? Which is which one would I prefer? Now, I do use both MT4 and MT5, okay? In terms of features, I think MT5 is a lot richer, a lot better, okay? Because you have things like copy trading, you have more time frames, okay? You have multi-threaded strategy tester, all right. It also has a built-in economic calendar. I don't have to keep referring back and forth to external website for economic calendar, right? However, there's one big thing, okay, that I really find that really doesn't sit well with me for MT5. Now, over the last 2 years that I've been using MT5 and MT4, okay, I do have multiple accounts, right? I realized that my MT5 platform is a lot buggier, right? Sometimes it can connect to the broker, sometimes it cannot connect to the broker. Okay, and I have gone back and forth multiple times in just trying to settle this issue. And it's very frustrating because imagine you have your MT5 platform, okay, on the screen, right? And you really have a few trades running. Now, you redo your analysis and you realize that, oh, okay, maybe now it's time to protect, my profits, time to trail the stop loss. So I adjust my stop loss, right? I adjust my stop loss. But what happens? Okay, on MT5, the order is not modified, right? It's not captured in the system at all. Okay, it says order unable to send through. Now, that gets really, really, really frustrating for me. Why? Because it just means that I cannot trail my stop loss, right? And if imagine, okay, I generally don't trade on the larger time frame. Okay, I trade on the smaller time. I don't trade on the smaller time frame, sorry, but I trade on the generally larger time frame. Now imagine if you're a scalper and you want to hurry move your stop loss to break even, but your MT5 platform is telling you that trade cannot be modified. Now you're gonna fumble, you're gonna get really, really stressed, and that's really not the way it should be, right? So in terms of personal experience, MT5 really was a letdown because it always had issue connecting to the broker. Now, people may say, then it could be the broker issue. However, okay, the very same broker, I also have an MT4 account, and the MT4 account runs properly, right? There's not an issue with the MT4 account, no issue with connection, no issue with connection speed whatsoever. All right, so and when it comes down to it, okay, at the end of the day, it's being able to execute trades, it's being able to modify your trades, it's being able to take a trade, right? Because what's the point of having such trading platform when you are unable to execute your trades? All right, so that is my own personal preference. Okay, at the end of the day, despite MT5 being feature rich, okay, I will still very much go back to MT4. So some of you then will ask, okay, hey Isaac, if MT5 is out, what will happen to MT4, right? Now, Metacodes, the company that created both MT5 and MT4, even though they announced several years ago that they will no longer be supporting MT4, all right, it is still available from their website for free, all right, and a lot of people continue to download it. At the same time, while Metacodes announced that they will no longer be supporting MT4, every now and then you still get a update, okay, for the MT4 platform. So it's very interesting, right? It's like they know that MT5, okay, supposedly the newer platform is not really working out well, and everybody's still stuck on MT4. Okay. So despite the hype of MT5, okay, MT4 is still generally seen as better by most traders. All right. Otherwise, okay, Metacodes would not force MT5 on people trying to download MT4 from his website, right? If you go onto his website, let me just pull it out. Okay, let me just pull it out for you guys. Okay, you go to MT4 download. Let me just erase all drawings. Okay. See, you go to metatrader4.com, right? You click on it. Okay. The words here really, really big. Download MetaTrader 4. All right. But then the button tab right below straight away says download MetaTrader 5. Okay. So it feels like Metacodes is actually sort of shoving this down your throat. Okay. And then it goes on to tell you all the features of MT4. Only then you see the smaller button here compared to the bigger one. All right. Download MetaTrader 4. All right, so it's very interesting. Okay, Metacodes try really, really, really hard. Okay, to get you guys to download MT5. All right, but at the end of the day, MT4 is still the favorite one, right? The favorite child, so to say. Okay, so it's just something for you guys to think about, right? Anyone has any questions? Any questions so far? Okay, if no questions, all right. What I'll share with you guys is a bit of tip and trick. If you guys were around last week for the FP webinar about MT4 Crash Course, I will repeat this again. Okay, some tips and tricks on using MT4. All right, now let's say you have MT4 downloaded, right? You have MT4 downloaded. Now I just want you guys to know that you see this thing in the first place. Okay, Market Watch. All right, all you have to do is right click and select Show All. Okay, the idea is because there are some symbols that are being hidden, okay, and you want to see all symbols that can be traded, right? And another thing that I want you guys to open up is this thing called the data window. You can just go to, okay, let me just see, I think it's under view, yeah, view, and then you go to data window. Okay, make sure it's open, okay, because data window really helps in terms of looking at the open, high, low, close, right? It's very ugly if you have a normal chart. Okay, let's say, yeah, this is how MT4 chart looks like, okay, by default, right? So you should actually change your settings, and you can actually set it to something like that. I prefer not to have any grid behind, right? So it's not so distracting. Okay, so that's one thing. The data window actually tells you where your open, high, low, close is. Okay, and that's very important, especially closing prices for me. Now, another thing to note is always learn to use Control F. Okay, when you use Control F, you get the crosshair out. Now, the crosshair, you can click, let's say from this swing low, I want to see how much it has moved to this upswing. Okay, I click from the low to the high. Okay, you see three numbers, right? Number one, followed by a backslash, second number followed by a backslash, and then third number. Now, the first number tells you the number of bars. Okay, so there's 6 bars, right? 6 bars from the time that I click. Okay, from the first click. And then the second number shows you the number of pips. Okay, over here it says 3,333. Okay, don't be confused. It's not 3,333 pips, but rather it's 333.3 pips. Okay, MT4, right? The last pip is always in pipette. Okay, so this is 333.3 pips. All right, and then the final number shows the current price where the cursor is at. Okay, so the cursor is actually a very good tool to use. All right, that's a very nice tip to use. Okay, so Control F. All right, and another thing that that I want you guys to know is to toggle these 2 arrows at the top. All right, the first arrow, the one with the red arrow, is this thing called chart shift. Okay, you see every time I turn it on, the entire chart shifts to the left, right? Every time I turn it off, it goes all the way to the right. Now this is important because let's say you want to draw a trend line. Okay, you want to draw a trend line. Okay, and it's all the way squeezed to the right. It's going to be very hard to do your analysis, especially if you want to analyze this area. Okay, so what you can do is you can toggle the chart shift. All right, and it moves here. Okay, so you get a bit more space to do your analysis. All right, so that is one thing to do. That is chart shift. Okay, so always remember use chart shift. All right, and another thing to note is this thing called chart scroll. Okay, so scroll when it's on, okay, this green arrow, basically what it does is it always returns back to the final candle. Okay, so you can scroll all you want. As long as you keep scrolling, it's okay, but the moment you let go, it goes back to the final candle. So you don't have to always shift to the final candle, right, manually. Okay, but if let's say you want to do back testing, you want to check out your strategy, you can turn off the chart scroll. Okay, and then you can scroll to the left, right? Okay, and you will not see the chart go back to the last candle. Okay, Any questions so far? All right, so these are just some tips and tricks that I can share with you guys. Okay, with regards to the MT4 platform. Right. Okay. One more tip that I want to share with you all when having the MT4 or MT5 platform is always customize your toolbar. Right. All you have to do is just right click anywhere on the toolbar. Okay, and then click customize. Right. They show you the different kind of things that you can move into your toolbar. Right. So of course I have bar chart, candlesticks, line chart. Okay. If I don't really use bar chart, I can click bar chart and then I can just remove it. And then you see at the top, it disappears. Okay, or I can actually select bar chart and reinsert it and it will appear at the top again. All right, same goes for the time frame, the market time frame, right? I can right click over here, okay, select customize. It shows all the time frame that's available, right? Over here in MT4, there's only monthly, weekly, daily, 4 hours, 1 hour, 30 minutes, 15 minutes, 5 minutes, 1 minute. So 9 time frames, right? But then on MT5, you actually have up to 21 time frames. So you even have yearly time frame, for example. Okay, so you can actually select and insert. Let's say if you're a scalper, you can put the 30 minutes, okay, or you can remove it. Okay, there's something for you guys to also customize. So always remember, learn to customize your MT4. That is really, really, really important. Okay, any questions so far? All right, if no questions, okay, then I will move on. Okay, so like I said, these are some of the tips, all right, when using MT4, MT5. Okay, so learn to toggle chart shift, chart scroll, keep your chart tidy. Okay, when you guys have too many lines on the chart, it's going to get really, really, really confusing. Okay, learn to customize your toolbar. Okay, and when you customize the toolbar, it makes it very easy to access your stuff. Okay, all your favorites. And of course, have market data and data window ready. So that's important because market data is at a glance. You want to be able to look at all the markets that you are trading. Okay, data window just sort of tells you the open, high, low, close, which is also important, especially if, like me, you look at closing prices. All right, so with that, we've come to the end of today's presentation comparing MT4 and MT5. I hope that has actually given you guys a clearer idea, okay? Especially our friend here, Sapato. All right, I hope it really has given you a clearer idea as to whether to use MT4 or MT5, right? At the end of the day, it's a very personal choice, okay? It may work for you, it doesn't work for me, but I'm not saying that it's wrong. I'm just sharing with you guys my experience. All right, and it doesn't matter which one you use, as long as you guys can execute your trades, as long as you guys can trade safely, prudently, I think that is the most important thing. Okay, so if you have any questions, all right, you can feel free to ask. Okay, I will leave this webinar on for about the next 5 minutes or so. All right, anything related to the markets, feel free to ask as well. Okay, I'm here to reply you guys. Okay, otherwise, with regards to the trading webinars, okay, you can actually go to fpmarkets.com/trading webinars. Okay, you have something. Let me just try to find it for you guys. Okay, where is my slide? Where's my? Okay, so you can actually go to resources, and then under resources, there's webinars. This is the FP Markets website. Okay, so all these are the upcoming webinars that we have. All right, the next one is by Li Xing, Introduction to CFDs. Okay, followed by TA for Beginners by my friend Aaron. Pretty chill chat. really knows what he's talking about. All right, and then I will cover the one back in March. Okay, introduction to fundamental analysis. All right, so that's just something for you guys to think about, okay, and deal with. All right. So if you have any questions with regards to the webinars itself, okay, you can also email support@fpmarkets.com. All right. So I'm just going to leave the screen here for questions that you guys might have. I think it's really important that I get to answer your questions. Okay, it can be MT4 related, MT5 related. It can also be markets related. Sapato, you're welcome. Really hope that what I've shared today value adds in helping you making a decision as to whether to use MT4 or MT5. All right, wish you all the best in your trading journey. Okay, you're just starting out, so I think my advice to you is really don't lose that passion. Okay, to be very realistic, the market will whack you left, right, and center, and it's very important. Okay, it's very important. All right, to keep the passion and to keep the excitement for the markets. All right, so I wish you all the best in your trading journey as you start out. Okay, Bronley. Okay, I hope I've got your name correct. So please don't be offended if I haven't gotten it correct. So Bronley, do we call out trick signals for currency pairs? I don't think FP provides trading signals at all. Okay, but if you go to our FP market webinars, okay, there are all these webinars that you can actually take part in, and you can actually ask the presenters. Okay, so like Aaron Hill, all right, Lee Sing, myself. Okay, you can actually ask, all right, the presenters on their views on any currency pair. Let's say for now you're trading pound yen, right? Pound yen has been going up crazily. Is it going to go higher? Is there going to be a pullback? All right, you can speak to us and we can do our best to give you an analysis. Okay. But as for trading signals, I don't think brokers should be giving out trading signals, because then I think it goes against compliance. It's a regulatory and compliance issue. So Bronley, I hope that answers your question. Any other questions? Okay. Okay, so what's my assessment for dollar franc daily chart? Okay, so let's go to the dollar franc chart. Okay, there you have it. Right, so you're asking me my assessment on dollar franc daily chart. Okay, if you ask me, I'm still bearish. Okay, the dollar seems to be bearish anyway. The dollar is quite weak. Okay, further on the daily, all right, we sorry. So following market structure, all right, let's just follow over here. Market made a low, right? It made a high, okay? It made a lower low, all right? Or you can say that it's compared to the same. It made a lower high, right? And then it made another lower low, okay, compared. And then it made a lower high. So what we can expect price to do, all right, for dollar franc is at least to go down to the same low, test the same low. There are two scenarios here, right? Either test the same low or it makes a lower low. So this is really looking at the trend on the bigger time frame, okay, on the longer direction. Now, when trend, okay, how do we know that the market is trending upwards or downwards? Very simply, okay, just very simple trend concept. All right. Now, market is trending upwards when it makes a series of higher highs and higher lows. Okay, so we know that the market is trending higher when it makes this series, when there's this structure. The opposite is true, right? When the market is going lower, when the market is trending lower, okay, it makes a series of lower lows and lower highs. So once you know very clear cut that these are the two basic structure that the market can do, all right, anything else is the market being in a sideways. Okay, if the market, okay, makes a high, makes a low, makes the same high, sorry, makes the same high, makes a higher low, all right, we know for sure that the market is sort of in a squeeze, right, a sideways. Okay, so this is an ascending triangle. Same thing if the market makes a high, makes a low, okay, makes a lower high, but instead of making a lower low, okay, it makes a higher low, all right, it goes up. Again, we know that the market is in a squeeze. Okay, so just from this basic two structures, right, we already know, okay, looking at where price is now, price is on a downtrend, right? We have lower lows, we have lower lows, we have lower highs. Okay, so we can expect price to at least push down to the same low or make a lower low. All right, so this is on the daily chart. Okay, so let's just have our swing target over here. All right, and let's go down to the 4 hours. So even on the 4 hours, okay, we see that price, all right, price made a low, made a high, made a higher low, made a higher high, okay, if price comes back down, all right, okay, to make a same low, okay, then we know that this structure is most likely going to change. Okay, now again, we always have to follow the bigger time frame, right? So we follow the daily time frame. Okay, so whatever it is that we see here, okay, price high, low, lower high, lower low, lower high, lower low. Okay, price could come back up, make a lower high, and then push down, make another lower low again. Okay, so really this is not just something that you just draw blindly, right? This actually follows fractal market hypothesis, right? It's the fractal nature of the markets, which really means that the big picture, okay, what you see in the big picture is repeated over time in a smaller pattern on a lower time frame. Okay, so I'm expecting price, okay, to sort of drift lower to this level. All right, and furthermore, okay, if I were to take a retracement of if I were to look at this looks like a small Elliott wave. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, 5 could go down to here. So our first take profit, intraday take profit, where I'll probably put my intraday take profit will be somewhere over here. Right? Okay, so we'll just use Fibonacci retracement. 1, 2, 3. Sorry, I mean Fibonacci extension. 0.1, 0.2, 0.3, and we see the 61.8 falls in line. Here, the 61.8 falls in line with this swing low over here. All right, so interim target will be 0.88389 dollar franc, and then of course the swing target will be at 0.87578. Okay, last but not least, if you want, you can actually also put momentum indicators in, and you can see that price is below moving average, MACD is below zero, showing room for further bearish downside. All right, so this is a very quick analysis of dollar franc. All right, so same goes for all the other attendees. If you guys have any questions, always feel free, all right, to ask the presenter for that session. All right, and that's all the time that we have for today, Baronley. I hope I've answered your question. All right, again, please don't take offense if I don't know how to pronounce your name. All right, I'm sure there's a very unique and special meaning behind your name, and I could possibly pronounce it very wrongly, and I'm sorry if I do. All right, so that's all the time that we have for today. I hope to catch you guys at the next webinar. All right, so until then, take care, stay safe, and very importantly, trade safe as well. And I'll catch you guys again. Goodbye.